Live from Orlando, Florida, you're listening to the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, the voice of Magic fans. Join us every week for a unique fan perspective on all of the latest Magic news and updates. The show starts now.
What's up, Magic fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, brought to you by DraftKings and part of the Basketball Podcast Network. We're your hosts, Al, myself, Anthony. Today is February 9th, and we are recording this episode post the NBA trade deadline, post a big-time win against the Denver Nuggets in Orlando, and we have a lot to talk about in this episode. In this episode, a lot of speculations leading up to the NBA trade deadline, and there was a lot of waiting that we've done, and in prime Orlando Magic fashion, we waited right until the very end before we got any news about the Orlando Magic. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. We're going to also break down today's game. Man, what a game, bro. You were there live. You were there in person. The one and only game that Aaron Gordon's going to see and play inside the Amway Center. This is going against the best team in the NBA, and the Orlando Magic were able to not just win, but win impressively. Like,
yep,
it was outside of like the first few minutes of the first quarter where we were down, what was it, 10-12-0, like right off the back. Yeah, outside of that, the Magic played really, really good basketball today. So we'll touch base on that. And then kind of the what happens after the NBA trade deadline. A lot of words about certain players that might get bought out. So we'll break that down later down into the episode. But before we get into that, I want to do a quick little shout out to our guys that are really holding down the fort on our Twitter spaces, Stanley Swanson and Bryce, who we just added. If you don't know, we added an additional member to our department of Twitter spaces to really support in that field. We've been getting a lot of engagement, a lot of compliments. People are really enjoying the spaces that we have going on. And what we decided to do is to give Stanley some additional support to be able to not only support in those 82 games, but to also bring more episodes and more spaces outside of just post game. So you're going to start to see breaking news spaces, open court spaces, around the table, like a lot of different unique aspects. We've even talked about doing pregame. So that's something that's definitely in the works. So if you haven't checked out, we did do a spaces today, early on in the day at about 2:30, from 2:30 to 3:30, around that time frame, that is recorded, that you're able to check out, where we get the chance to listen to reactions from other Magic fans in regards to the NBA trade deadline. So a lot of great stuff. We had Shot by Lou at the game today that took a lot of great videos. Markelle Fultz looked amazing today, man. I can't wait to talk about today's game. And then we got Kieran also covering the game at today. So very, very busy day for the HQ, and it's about to be 11 o'clock, and now we're recording our episode.
Yep. Yeah, that's man. What we do, man.
What a busy day. What a busy day.
It's
so
crazy.
NBA trade deadline. You and I, we normally consider it a holiday where we take off of work. Didn't really happen that way, but how much work were you able to get done today?
Very little. I'm not gonna lie. I think the morning was actually kind of productive. Knowing the Magic, I wasn't expecting a move early in the day, so I did all my work before 11 a.m. Majority of it. But yeah, man, between 11 and 3 o'clock, it was not very productive at all.
That's a tough part, bro. I had to take my phone and put it into another room because I didn't want to get too distracted. You know, in my line of work, I have to try to be as focused as possible, and it was making it really, really hard. I even left my Apple Watch like away, like I took it off just to make sure I didn't get too distracted. I did the same thing around the time frame where I knew things were about to go down. That's where I checked it. But outside, before we jump into the Magic news, was there what trade? Because a lot of things happened. It was funny. I can't remember who was it that tweeted it out. It was a player in the NBA that said, "Man, none of y'all really liked the team that you guys had because there was just so many different moves coming from so many different directions." I think this has to have broken the record of how many second round picks were moved, like in one trade deadline.
I've never
Everyone
seen so many teams.
throwing 5 second-round picks here, 5 second round picks there. There's a lot of teams that ended up trading for, old players back into their team. You got Gary
Yep.
Payton II and went back to Golden State. You got Jacob going back to Toronto. John Wall ended up getting traded back to Houston. Obviously, he's not going to play there. They're going to end up cutting him. But that was kind of like a lot of the trend that we were seeing. And then Kevin Durant getting traded like at 3 o'clock in the morning. What was that?
That was wild. That was wild, man. And it's funny because I stood up late last night just waiting to see if anything major would happen. And legit, I don't know what I tweeted, like at 1:03 a.m. I tweeted something, went to bed, literally put my phone away. 2 minutes later, KD got traded. I didn't see until the morning. So I kept waiting and trying to stay up just in case. Went to bed 2 minutes early, missed the KD news. But waking up to that was kind of wild, man. I mean, you may not be a Nets fan, you may not be a Suns fan, but it is a
as a basketball
NBA changing
fan
move. Yeah, like you gotta be like, whoa, like what did just happen? And not only that, but the Nets were not quite sure if they were going to trade KD or not. So to wake up to those news, the next thing became they're going to move Ben Simmons. That was like the logical thing. It didn't quite end up happening that way. But really, really good trade for the Suns. The Nets, I kind of low key like what they're doing. And I know it's rebuilding. I know it's kind of starting over again, but they have some really solid pieces to kind of build around. And look, tonight they beat the Bulls. They did us a favor. But it reminds me a little bit of the team they had before they started trading for or acquiring these stars, when they had Dinwiddie the first time around, D'Lo. So low-key kind of like what they're doing. I don't think they'll be good next season or the year after that, but they'll be fun to watch. What about you? What trade kind of woke you up this morning and you were kind of shocked by it?
So, I mean, I was already up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, changing a diaper. I take a look at my phone, and my phone literally 250 notifications. My heart dropped so hard because in order for me to get 250 notifications, like something has to happen. Like something desperately had to happen. And I'm thinking that it's Magic related. So I'm going through these notifications. Then all of a sudden I see Suns, Kevin Durant. And I'm like, no way this dude did not get moved to Phoenix. Just not even a day after the start of the new reign from the ownership group in Phoenix. This man on his first day at work hit a home run. Kudos to Phoenix. I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know if it's going to work out just because Chris Paul is on his last limb, old and dirty. You got DeAndre Ayton that who knows if he's even happy being there. You got Devin Booker that, in my opinion, he's so cursed by the Kardashian curse. And then now you're throwing Kevin Durant in there. He's always struggled to be healthy as well. So I'm interested to see, man, because you're looking at the West Coast and all these teams that are feeling pretty solid, man. They feel confident going into, the Western Conference and battling out like teams like, Memphis, John Morant talking all that smack in the beginning of the season. I'm fearing nobody. Now my man's got to fear the Phoenix Suns. Now they got to fear the Dallas Mavericks. I really like what the Mavs are doing with Kyrie Irving and Luka. A lot of people are harsh on Kyrie Irving, man, and I get that people don't like the off the court stuff, but dude, if you don't think that Kyrie Irving is still a baller on the court, you are insane. This dude is wild on the basketball court.
Nah, he is for sure, man. For me personally, I don't know the locker room situation that he creates. Look at what happened with the Nets, what happened with the Celtics, what happened with the Cavs. There's a trend there. If he does it once, whatever. But if he's done it 3 times in a row now, it never ends well. I hope it works out. He's in the West Coast. I could care less what happens to him and the Mavs. But Luka, which may work out for us, Luka may not take it too much. If he starts acting up in the locker room, he may say, get me out of here. And guess what, man? I know the Magic and Magic fans are waiting for that day to cash in. We got Mosley, we got money, we got picks. You never know what could happen. But yeah, man, the West is going to be really, really fun. I will say, too, the Clippers had a really, really good trade deadline. Really, they acquired what? Eric Gordon, Bones from the Nuggets, Plumlee from the Hornets. Really a lot of depth to that team. And there's rumors that Westbrook may be going there, too. So that team, I don't really like him. I don't trust them in the playoffs, but they may be really, really deep now. They might be really 11 deep. And that comes out, that's something that may be a factor in the playoffs for that team. So it's going to be fun to watch the Western Conference playoffs. The East, not so much. I think you have really 4 teams, in my opinion, that are kind of solid right now. Other than that, the bottom 6 teams, bottom 7 teams, it's kind of wide open. But the top 4, it's kind of top heavy in the East.
Yeah, and I'm actually really surprised by the Toronto Raptors as well. You thought that it was going to be a selling team where they were going to blow it up, and that was not the case. If anything, they made their team a little bit stronger by trading for Jacob, and I was really hoping that there was going to be some moves, man. I really wanted that team to blow up just for my own personal self satisfaction, especially with all the smack that we heard from Raptors fans and whatnot, and. I don't know, man. This trade deadline was weird. I'll be honest with you. It was a little weird, and kind of transitioning to, what we're really here to talk about is the Orlando Magic. So, we've heard rumors already for months about Patrick Beverley. This was the debate. People were for Patrick Beverley trading for him. People were against it. People liked the idea that he's a dog and he has his defensive presence and maybe he would be a good vet to be able to put around these young guys. And others were thinking the opposite, saying he's a cancer and this and that. And we even came up with some trade predictions. Our writers at Magic HQ. Shout out to Jay, Luke, and Kieran that put together some trade packages. And one of the trades that they put down there was, Terrence Ross and for Patrick Beverley in the 2nd round pick. Almost, it was just the wrong guy. So obviously you guys heard what the trade was for, but the Orlando Magic were involved in a 4-team trade. 4 teams. So originally we got the report that the Orlando Magic, how Waj is, man. He's trying to be the first one to send out information. It was really just the Orlando Magic have traded for Patrick Beverley, and that was it. And everyone's like, whoa, what is going on? And mind you, this was 15 minutes before we again ready to jump on to the Twitter spaces. So we didn't get a whole lot of information off the back, and then it slowly comes in. Patrick Beverley was traded for Mo Bamba. So Mo Bamba is finally off of the Orlando Magic roster. He gets sent to LA. Man, the LA better. I don't know, man. What is it with LA and trying to take our centers, man? What, good centers, bad centers, mediocre center. They want every single center that we have.
It makes no sense, man. I don't get it. I mean, this time around, they're not taking at least, a Dwight Howard, a Shaq from us. And no disrespect to Mo Bamba, he's not quite at that level yet. We all know it. But yeah, when we saw that tweet, I truly expected the following one to be Terrence Ross to the Lakers for Beverley and a 2nd round pick, which we had called on our episode this past Monday, but also on the website, on the article that we wrote. But seeing Mo Bamba's name, let me ask you this first. What was your reaction when you saw that is what he got, what we got in return? When you saw the entire afternoon, players are not really that great getting in return 2 2nd round picks, 3 2nd round picks, 5 2nd round picks. And here's Mo Bamba getting 1 from the Lakers. What was your reaction to that?
It was tough because, man, it's like, so Well God posted a tweet that he made a really good point. It's like, Evan Fournier was traded for was it 2 2nd round picks? Yeah, he was traded for 2 2nd round picks, and obviously Evan Fournier was a better player than Mo Bamba. When you trade for a player like Mo Bamba, you're really, you're banking on the potential that there's still something there, right? It's the environment, they need a new space, whatever the case may be. I really didn't expect much from Mo Bamba. If we're being really, really honest, we got exactly what we thought we were getting with Mo Bamba. I know it wasn't a sexy trade. I know it wasn't, anything that really moved the needle. But a part of me was kind of, it was time, bro. It was really time. And kudos to the Orlando Magic for really trying. Like, they tried, bro. They tried different coaches. They gave them how many contracts? This dude lost his starting lineup, his starting position to literally every single player that we had out there, to the point that he fell out of the rotation. A lot of people wanted to blame it on Steve Clifford. And we obviously know that it wasn't Steve Clifford's fault. There's something obviously there. There was a disconnect that Mo Bamba just couldn't be who maybe he thought he could be. And I feel bad because, you know, Mo Bamba he does so much good. Man, he's a really, really good shooter. And that's one of the things that really is going to separate him, you know, from other players. And for a team that needed more from Mo Bamba, it just wasn't a right fit for us, unfortunately, because we needed way more. We needed him to produce way more. And maybe it'll be different in LA. He doesn't need to do he needs to do zero scoring, bro. Zero scoring. Like there's no, and what I mean by zero scoring, I mean he doesn't have to look for his own shot, like none of that. His job, stretch the floor, catch and shoot, don't put the ball down. I don't even think they're going to expect him to rebound like that. I think him playing with LeBron is going to be interesting. I will be watching. I would like to see how that goes.
For sure. I mean, I think that for me personally, my reaction was just, like I said, you kept seeing these trades go down for multiple second-round picks. For Terrence Ross, I would have been fine with just 1 second-round pick, to be honest. But Mo Bamba, 24-year-old, under contract for next season, if you want him to be, it's a team option. I expected more. And then we got the report that Beverly is going to be coming to Orlando, but actually not expected to report. So meaning we're going to buy him out. So really, you literally traded this guy for a second-round pick. Let's be honest, and cash considerations, which whatever that means. So I don't know. I expected a little bit more from Mo. Now, with that being said, to your point, his time is up. And I walked out of Amway on Tuesday against the Knicks, saying to myself, enough. So I forgot who it was with me, asked me, you know, do you really want to give up on Bamba already? Like, are you ready for that? I'm like, yeah, it's time. I don't care what we get back for him. It's time to get him off the team. And we did that. So I guess the front office agreed with that point. But I just expected a little bit more. If it had been 2 second-round picks, if it had been a future heavily protected first-round pick, I would have been better with it. But the fact that we're not getting a player back, the fact that we're not getting really more than just a second-round pick, which, by the way, is Denver's 2024 second-round pick, meaning it's probably going to be a low second-round pick next year. So I don't know. It was a very small package, I feel, for Mo Bamba. And then the surprise of it all is Terrence Ross and RJ Hampton remain on the team. So what are your thoughts on that?
Survivor, bro. Terrence Ross is a survivor. It's like if Terrence Ross was a character on The Purge, like he would make it out alive, man, with no scratches, no nothing. I feel bad for him. I honestly feel like it's time for him. Like he wants to go. We're not playing him like at all. And I guess it's kind of weird, and not necessarily weird. I guess it kind of caught me off guard because when he didn't play, what was that? I think it was the Knicks game. Was it that it was his birthday? Right?
Yep.
Was it the Knicks
Sunday's game?
I can't remember.
Charlotte.
Okay. So it was his birthday. And man, afterwards, they sang him happy birthday. He was smiling. Things were great. Like everything was kumbaya. But at the same time, man, he's a baller, man, and he does a lot of good. And he's still not getting, you know, any PT. So I think that if I'm Terrence Ross, and I can be completely wrong, but if I'm Terrence Ross and I see that trade of Mo Bamba to LA, I'm like, man, that's supposed to be me. Like I'm the one that's supposed to be getting traded to LA, not Mo Bamba. Like, congrats to Mo. He made it out. How does Mo Bamba get traded before Terrence Ross? And Terrence Ross, time after time, what is this? Like the third NBA trade deadline that we're expected for him to move, and he makes it out alive?
Crazy.
Like, dude, it's time. So word on the streets is that there might be a buyout. But it definitely sure as hell wasn't today. So like I don't know what's
with
being.
With that being said, I'll tell you this. So he's with the team in the shoot around warm-ups. He sat on the bench maybe a minute, and then he left the bench. And I'm like, hey, what's Terrence Ross? I couldn't find him anywhere. Goes to find out he's on the bikes, which is right by the locker room entrance. You can barely see him from my seats, but close up, he was there. The entire game after that, he never went back to the bench. He would only join the team for timeouts, and then he would go right back to the bike the entire time.
We're wasting his time.
All that to say, I don't know if it meant anything. I don't know if he was just staying fresh, doing some cardio while the game was going on, but he did not sit on the Magic's bench tonight. He wasn't part of, whatever talking was going on between the players, the coaches during the game actually going on. So I don't know if that means anything, but I found that interesting. It's the first time I see that happen. The big rumor is he might be gone this weekend. That's when they expect to waive him or cut him. If not that, after next week's games, which will be against the Bulls and the Raptors, and then the All-Star break kicks in. That's the big rumor. But man, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it in Orlando the rest of the season, just because my thinking is he wants to be here with his family. And the front office is saying, you know what, man, we'll do right by you. Stick it out. It's 26 games left.
Do you really believe that with the body language that you see? Like, the dude is on a bike. Why? Okay. Why do players go on the bicycle?
Usually it's before they check in.
But why?
Do some cardio, get ready.
To warm up, get their legs ready. That way they're not, jumping into the game cold. Why is my man on the bike if he knows he's not going to play? Why? What is the point on being on the bike? And this is where I'm going with that. The bike is the only place or the only reasonable reason to take yourself away from the team professionally 100%. Where it's acceptable.
Yep.
It's either bicycle or locker room. Locker room isn't a choice. The bicycle is away from the team. And if you know how many DMPs have we already gone through, if you know for a fact that you're not going into the game, why are we on the bicycle? Why?
So I found that really odd. I actually texted Kieran at some point in the game, like, hey man, like, it's T-Ross somewhere. Am I not seeing him? He actually tweeted like, oh, Terrence Ross not sitting with a bench. But then I told him, oh, I see him now. He deleted the tweet. So I don't know. I'm torn between him staying with the Magic. And like I said, the Magic doing him a solid and just keeping him in Orlando with his family. His wife was at the game today. His wife actually went to the bike and talked to him for a few minutes and shared a laugh. So like, the wife is involved for the team. She's at the game.
You got binoculars? Like how are you focusing on the game and Terrence Ross on the bike at the same time? I'm impressed.
I'm right by the Magic's bench. So like I keep an eye on what's going on. But yeah, man, it was just an awkward kind of situation. So I'm 50-50. He might be gone by Tuesday the latest. I could also see him ride it out and just kind of stay with the team 26 more games, 2 more months, and then he's a free agent. He can do whatever he wants. And by the way, Mo Bamba being traded to the Lakers for so little, I really, really feel it was a favor to him. I think like the Magic have been doing. They told him, hey man, we got this offers on the table. What do you prefer? And I really, really believe it came down to Mo Bamba saying, I'd rather play with LeBron and the Lakers. They sent him there. No way. I really believe, man, that there's no way that was the best offer on the table for the Magic from Mo Bamba. But let's see what happens with Ross. What is your prediction? Does he get bought out next week? Does he make it through the end of the season?
I personally think it would be extremely dirty of us. Dirty to keep him on the roster and not play him at all. Because we're not talking about like a scrub. We're not talking about like the 14th, 15th player on, another team, because I like the 14th, 15th player on our team, other teams, right? Terrence Ross provides a lot of value in the shooting department on a team that struggles with shooting. Like, he can really help us out. The part that's I think confirms is the fact that he also didn't play tonight. Like, if the idea was, okay, we're not going to trade you we're not going to play you because we're going to try to look for a trade, and then that doesn't happen, and then you decide, all right, well, we really couldn't find what we were looking for, so we're just going to play you until the end of the season, because now the risk is gone. Like, my man's a free agent at the end of the season. He can go wherever he wants. We lost all leverage, right? So then just play him until the end of the season. So the fact that it's another DNP, unless it's a character issue, unless there's something else that we don't see, which I don't believe so. Like, I've never gotten that vibe from Terrence Ross. Buying out has to be the only option. And I'll be honest with you. I told you, I think it's going to be either for Charlotte or LA.
It's got to be
Charlotte or the Lakers.
Or I could see now Phoenix getting involved because I know they need some depth after that trade.
Could also be Phoenix. Absolutely, because their bench is absolutely trash. They have no depth. Yep. So I can definitely see that. Definitely.
Yeah, man. So overall, let's wrap it up. So when you talk about the trade for Mo Bamba, Terrence Straw still being here, at least as of 10:40 p.m. Thursday night. What do you rate this trade deadline? Like, what grade do you give the Magic for what they did?
Man, a grade? You're gonna make me grade it?
Come on, gotta do it.
A grade? Can I give you a feeling? I'm gonna give you a feeling. You're telling me a grade. I'm indifferent. Like I'm super indifferent with the trade. I mean, when I first heard the trade, and I saw Patrick Beverley, I instantly, in my mind, convinced myself this was an amazing move and it's going to work out. And then moments later, Kobe Price says, "Well, pump the brakes. We're not expected to play him." I'm like, crap. So that's it. Just
second round pick.
Is it second round pick? Okay.
So I will tell you my reaction and my final thoughts as I'm wrapping up the day here is what I expected. Right. So we expected not much action, number one. Number two, we expected Mo or Ross to be traded for a second round pick. That's what we did. And to your point, I would have liked to see maybe Patrick Beverley stick to with the team, maybe even if it's a couple of weeks. Just give it a shot and see how he reacts, how he leads in the locker room, because I think he could have been a good influence on guys like Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, guys that play hard, have that dog mentality. Who better to learn from? And not only that, but he's a big guy into like making the playoffs. Every team that I play for needs to make the playoffs. And guess what? We are in the playoff push right now. So I think it would have been nice to see that, him in Orlando, maybe not even playing the T-Ross role. But, at the end of the day, man, we're hearing rumors that he's going to Minnesota again, something here, something there. Who knows? Ultimately, my reaction is it's what we expected. The Magic are not there yet. They're not at the place where they're going to make a big trade. But I do think starting June and forward, so the draft, free agency coming up, that's when the Magic will start to move forward and say, all right, we got our guys now. Who are we building around? What do we need to do? This trade deadline is a little bit too early. They're still kind of evaluating, now that we're finally healthy, what we got and what we're going to go from here.
Yeah, so, I mean, do I wish that we would have done more? Absolutely. I think the consensus across the fan base, would they have wished that something more happened? Absolutely. But truth be told, bro, we really didn't need a trade, bro. We did not. The focus right now needs to be on two things. That's the NBA draft, and free agency, and then after the draft, after you decide what it is that you want to do, because keep in mind, adding two rookies to an already young team may not be the best idea. Like nope. it might just not. So it makes sense to not do anything, wait until the draft, see where the ping pongs fall, and then decide what you want to do with those draft picks. If it is that you want to draft two more rookies and that's what you decide with, okay, cool. That's just what it is. But if you decide that you want to package one of those draft picks with another player to move up or to move back or to do whatever you want, just gives the Magic a little more flexibility. So I'm okay. Am I disappointed? Yeah, man, because I'm seeing all these other teams and they're getting moves and people are all excited. And we didn't do anything to really be excited about. So
I will say to Magic fans,
it is what it is.
I will say the time will come. The time will come where we will be the Clippers, we will be the Suns, making those moves to make us stronger heading into the playoffs. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. And also keep in mind, like I said a few minutes ago, we just got healthy. We just finally started seeing, what J.I. looks like, what Markelle looks like, what Jalen Suggs looks like, what Ball looks like with a healthy team. So I completely understand the point of let's evaluate, let's really see what we got. And keep in mind, man, the season is almost over, believe it or not. 26 more games is going to fly by. Whether or not we make the play-in tournament, we'll see what happens. But ultimately, we can finally evaluate this team and see who really fits, who really doesn't. And that's going to be the outcome. That's going to lead to who do we trade, who do we keep. But I feel like if they would have made a move today and maybe package a Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs, I feel like it's too early for that. We're still about an offseason away from that happening.
Yeah, I agree. So glad that this trade deadline is finally behind us, because this allowed for us to mentally know, all right, this is the team that we got, and now is moving forward. I think we've already passed the stage of the idea of tanking, right? The Magic, with this win against Denver, have now exceeded the wins of last season, right? So now we're already in the positive. Every single win is in addition to of adding Paolo and the growth and development of our players and even development of Coach Mose. Coach Mose isn't perfect, but he's doing a great job of what he has. We're winning basketball games. And then kind of transitioning into this Denver Nuggets game, man, what a fun game to watch. You're talking about the number one team in the NBA, where we're able to knock them on their ass 115-104. And this is coming from, Nikola Jokic, that man, he has, granted, right, multiple MVPs, best player on the best team. He can say whatever he wants. But the comment that he made the last time that we played against him really rubbed me the wrong way, because I felt as if he was calling us trash. I didn't like the way that came across. Mm-hmm. If you don't remember what he said, then let me read the quote. I don't know why I lost it. Give me a second. It's right here. Don't be impatient. It's right here. Relax. All right. He said, I think the good teams win even when they play bad, and bad teams always find a way to lose games even when they're up. So the fact that the Magic found a way to close this game out, to really get this win against the Denver Nuggets, one, shows the growth of the Orlando Magic. It highlights the health. The fact that, Bobo is coming out and just playing nasty revenge game against the Denver Nuggets, it's amazing. And this is with Aaron Gordon going absolutely off on us. Like, this man was bodying everybody on the Magic. But to be able to run out with the win is awesome, because we're not just beating like the teams that we're supposed to beat. Surprising a lot of people with our play, man. We're beating a lot of really, really good basketball teams. Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets, Golden State Warriors, Philadelphia 76ers. We're not, this team, even though we're young, we're not afraid of anybody. And I think that confidence is going to weigh a lot, because on a game where Paolo had another subpar game, man, it's not, he's hitting his semi-rookie wall, and we're still finding a way to win. Cole Anthony, I want everybody to apologize to Cole Anthony. Those of you that were hard on Cole Anthony, because Cole Anthony is hearing all these Fred VanVleet rumors and talks and whatever. And Cole Anthony, he went through his shooting spell where it just wasn't hitting for him, and he's standing up and he's saying, Fred VanVleet, who? Like, this is me, and he's shown a big time coming off the bench. So this game was fun, man. What did you think?
I mean, what a crazy game, right? You start the game, Nuggets leading 12-0. You're feeling like, all right, this offense is going nowhere. It's going to be a long game against one of the best teams in the NBA. In some way, somehow, the Magic actually pulled off a crazy comeback in that first quarter. They ended up leading that first quarter 29-26, and they end up winning the game 115-104. Big shout out to the bench, man. The bench really, really did a great job today, led by Cole Anthony, 17 points, Ball, 17 points. Mo Wagner, seems like he's doing it every night now, 12 points off the bench. The bench, for the most part, plus 19 for Houston, Cole Anthony, plus 18 for Mo Wagner. Ridiculous. How well they played. Again, the depth played off for the Magic. The depth really made a big difference against a good team tonight. Markelle didn't really have it going on today. Paolo didn't have it going on today. Franz didn't have it going on today. But yet the bench stepped up and led the way for us. Also, Wendell Carter did a great job defending Jokic and also scored 19 points for us. So a really, really good win. Truly makes up for what was, to me, one of the worst losses of the year, losing to the Knicks at home, since we led most of that game and then we found a way to lose it at the end. But this one makes up for it. Because in my eyes, we could have potentially beaten the Knicks and lost for sure. I also had us losing tonight. So we're back on track. 1-1. The Heat play Friday night. Then they come to Orlando on the second night of a back-to-back on Saturday. So if you're the Magic, you got to be ready for that game. You're playing at home. Big win. You need that one. But tonight, we got to celebrate because they did a hell of a job beating one of the best teams in the NBA.
Yeah, what is up with Markelle Fultz trying to slam everything?
I'm loving it.
This dude is like he is literally trying to dunk on everybody. Like today, so one of the things that I really enjoyed watching in today's game is the rebounding from Markelle and Jalen Suggs. Like, granted, I don't want, like, I really like Gary Harris in the starting lineup, but today was really fun watching Markelle and Jalen Suggs start together because defensively they were creating havoc. Talking about only 3 turnovers in the first half compared to, what was it, 12, 13 turnovers to the Nuggets around that. They were creating havoc, bro. And there was a moment where, you know, Markelle Fultz tried to go in, grab this crazy rebound, almost put a putback, grabbed the rebound, and he missed. And then Jalen Suggs came in, did the same thing. Like the rebounding, you know, is my sore eye with this team, right? And I was really impressed by what the Magic were able to do. So really, really fun for this team. And I think that everyone from the Magic, they can all kind of, you know, decompress after the NBA trade deadline, knowing that there was really no major moves. Everyone said their goodbyes to Mo Bamba, and you can tell that Mo Bamba is a player that everyone really, really liked being around, and he'll be missed, man. For all the bad that we've said about Mo Bamba, you know, and the real bad is you know, the expectations that people put on him. And that's the unfortunate thing. But, you know, it's 5 years with the Orlando Magic. He will always be a magician in his own right. And we'll see what happens, man. We'll see how he does in LA.
Yeah, man, it's going to be exciting. I think we got, what is it? We have 3 games left before the All-Star break. 3 games back from the 10th seed. So a really, really big push here is needed against the Heat, the Bulls, and the Raptors. We got to somehow win maybe hopefully 2 of those to stay in this race. But man, the Magic are right there. We're going to come back from the All-Star break, refresh, hopefully with a much better Paolo and Franz. And we're going to be right there, man. I don't know if we make it, but the fact that we're playing meaningful games, the final 25 games.
Just be in the hunt.
Huge.
That's it.
Huge.
That's it. Just be in the hunt. The hunt hurts nobody. It only allows this team to develop. Who knows what ends up happening with Brooklyn? Hopefully they fall all the way down, and that will help out with, you know, what we're trying to accomplish. And we'll see what happens, man. A lot of basketball to be played. We only got 3 games left until the All-Star break. Around there?
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. We'll see. NBA trade deadline, fun, stressful. I'm sure is stressful for the players. Maybe not so much for Mo Bamba, because my man, after he got the word that he got traded, he's already taking selfies with a U-Haul. Like he was happy, man. He was happy. Yeah, it was time. All right, man. Great episode. Magic win against the big dog Denver Nuggets. And man, on to the next one. It's a wrap. Thank you guys for listening. Check out our recorded spaces for the trade specials. Really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Check it out. It's a wrap. Catch you guys next week.
For all the latest Magic news and updates, visit OrlandoMagicHQ.com and follow us on Instagram at Orlando Magic HQ and on Twitter at OMagicHQ. Also, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening platform.